Straw Hut Media.
Oh my gosh, it's my brother. I think I have to answer this. Okay. Hello? I'm doing a pod. Did you get it? Bye, I love you too. He needed my mom's email. I don't know why he just doesn't look stuff up sometimes. Like, it's literally in your email. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the Jordyn Jones Podcast. I'm so happy that you guys are back listening, watching, whatever. Matcha's here again today. She is getting bigger. She's almost 1 year old. It's crazy. But yes, we are so happy to be back in the studio today answering your guys' questions. These ones are questions that you guys had for me. So let's get right on into the video. How did your life change since you became a cat mom? Okay, number one would be coming home to her has just made my life so much better. You know, I'm so happy coming home or just not having plans, or even when I have plans, I just want to get home to my cat. I seriously think that I couldn't have been more lucky with her personality. She is so perfect. It's literally like I created her in a lab of exactly what I wanted, and it's just crazy. It just like brings me so much more happiness to my life. So that is definitely a pro. Another pro is honestly like having a responsibility. I love having that, just making sure, you know, of her appointments and her checkups and her eyes and her teeth and her nail trimming and, you know, making sure she takes a bath every single month. I get her all these new toys. I'm not a surface level type of person when it comes to taking care of something, whether it's a boyfriend or a mom or my own cat. I genuinely research everything, really try to do my best with her and being her mom. I'm just so much more like responsible and attentive. I can sense the smallest thing. Like I can sense if she has to go to the bathroom or she's hungry or her water bowl is getting low, and just like how she acts, it just makes me so much more, I don't know, I just like have to think about more things. Like even if I leave the house, it's like, okay, when did I leave? When do I have to be back? Is there food in her bowl? Are the cameras on? Is the slider door, because I have like a screen and then a slider, and I keep the slider open when I'm home because she likes to look out, and then again the screen door keeps her inside, and I always shut the door. So it just makes you think more. It changes like me and how I think for the better. Again, that's another pro. Literally the only con, but it's a pro at the same time, is the traveling thing. I'm so thankful that my boyfriend watches her when I leave. And if we both leave, someone else in his family or, you know, my assistant will come over and just check on her here and there. I'm so thankful with the people around me that also just love her so much and just know that she's such a good cat. People will watch her if I need to, but I just don't really want to leave because I want to be with my cat. I could do so much, you know, more traveling right now since I'm young, and a lot of people don't want to get a cat for this reason. But now that I have her, I don't want to go do these things. I literally want to be home with her. I like our routine. She likes being home with me. That in itself is like a pro and a con. But if I do have to leave, you know, I have people that I trust that will take care of her. If I didn't have the people that I do have now to watch her, I don't really know what I would do. I probably wouldn't leave ever because I don't want to go on a hiring service or anything because that's literally my baby. I just like have to trust these people with my cat, like with my cat's life. So yeah, that's kind of stressful at some points when I do have to leave or I want to go to Michigan, and I don't really want to travel with her to Michigan because we have 6 dogs there and 6 cats, and the door is constantly open and closed. It's a really, really old farmhouse. You can go into the foundation, and we have a couple cats in Michigan that kind of just stay in the foundation of the house. Like we don't know where they are. We don't know where they go. So I'm afraid that she's gonna go in these places and just be too scared of these other cats and dogs. I'm not really a fan of bringing her to Michigan yet. At least I don't really want to ever, because I'd be so scared of her getting out or honestly being eaten by one of these cats or dogs at this house, because they're just like gigantic and she's so small. She's 9 pounds. Yeah, I'm just so careful with her and I'm so protective and possessive. Literally a crazy cat mom, but she has changed my life only for the better, and I would not even think for a second of the fact that I couldn't take care of her, because I'm fully taking care of her until she or I am not longer living. So yes, I do not have any second plans with my cat. I always see questions of people being like, well, what are you gonna do when you don't want her anymore? I'm sorry, what? Does that actually happen with people? I mean, I know that people have to put their cats up for adoption for many reasons. I would really hope that it's not because you just don't want it anymore. If something's going on with your living situation, or, you know, another dog that you've had forever is not getting along, you know, I could see why people would do that. But come on, like, if you just don't want it anymore, like, that is so irresponsible. I just do not like those kinds of people. Like, come on. If you made that decision, you gotta stick with it. Unless this cat can have a better life elsewhere, but I'm going to be giving her the best life. So if you cannot do that, then yes, totally agree with adoption or finding a family friend to take care of your animals or your pigs or literally anything. Whew. Okay, next. How long have you and your boyfriend been together? I love your videos. We just hit 2 years on August 1st, going very strong. And yeah, we just went on a trip to Montana. We go up to Monterey currently while this is filming. Little trips like this are super fun, where it's a road trip, so we get to spend some fun time together. And yeah, 2 years is honestly crazy, but it's been flying by. So has summer. Like, summer has flown by. I'm excited that it's flying by, kind of, because it's so hot. I've always been a summer person. I've always been I prefer the heat person until this summer. I cannot wait for it to be cold. I cannot wait for it to rain. I cannot wait for it to just be fall. I think I'm officially a fall person. I've always been a spring, summer person. I'm a fall person. It's too hot and I cannot handle California anymore. It's just so hot. It gives me headaches. Like, I have a headache right now because of this heat. Why did you stop making music? I get this question a lot. It makes me so happy that people ask me this, because I put so much money and time and effort into my music back in the day. I stopped about 4 years ago. And to see that people are still asking me when music's coming out, what happened, why did I stop, it honestly puts that little thought in my mind of, should I do it again? But why I stopped, it was COVID. It was 2020. A big part of who I was as a musician was music videos. I put so much into my music videos, and that's honestly why I had a following, was people loved my music videos. So when COVID happened and you couldn't be on sets, you know, for a long time you couldn't. And then after that, it was a much smaller crew. I had some situations where I did stuff like that to, you know, keep it going for a little while. But after a while, I kind of thought that the money I was putting into it and how COVID happened, okay, well, there's not going to be shows. There's not going to be award shows. Everything came to a screeching halt. Social media at that point and brand deals and podcast really took off for me, to the point where I didn't need to do music because I was making money in other ways. And I always know I can go back to music. I love it. I still have the dance like in me. You know, I could still always go back to that. But since I was pursuing my social media career so much at that point in 2020, 2021, it kind of took until last year for music to really become able to tour again and able to do all these things and kind of go back to normal. So I kind of took a break from it, and I thought it was going to only be a break, but it kind of turned into, I quit, I'm done. But you never know. I always think about how I want to go back in the studio again. About a month ago, I DM'd my old producer back in the day, and I told him that I had this song I wanted to hear my voice on because I also was kind of known for my covers, and not a lot of people are doing them anymore, but I really like this one song, and I really resonate with it, and I kind of am curious on how I would sound. I haven't sang and been in the booth in 3-4 years now, 4 or 5 years maybe. I don't even know, because the songs I had come out with, the most recent songs, they were pre-recorded obviously, so it's been a long time. And he said, if you're ever in Nashville, please, like, we'll hear you on it, we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's a little sliver in me that kind of misses it, but yeah, I've always been an independent artist. Just to put it into perspective, I would spend about $30,000 to $40,000 for each song from start to finish, from writers and studio time and music videos and dancers and rehearsals and my outfits and the hair and the makeup. I would be done with a $40,000 bill at the end. It kind of just came to a point where when COVID happened, it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do with the music now? So that's why I decided to stop, because it wasn't smart for me to be putting. And no, I didn't have to put that much into it, but I started with Banji, and that was like a $15,000 to $20,000 budget, and that was a cover song. So because I had started with that type of bang, I'm only an up from there kind of person. And I had a couple videos where it'd be like $5,000 to $10,000 budgets. Just, it didn't hit for me. Like the videos, you could tell. So yeah, when COVID happened, I realized that if I'm not going to be doing shows and tours and anything like that, it's just not reasonable to be spending that much money on a song when nothing can come out of it. So that is really why I quit. And I do think that a part of me would be down to do it again. Okay, next. How would you rate your 2024 so far? Okay, I'm going to rate out of 10, 5. Because I got my cat, and that has definitely been the best part of my 2024. But I have also had like 2 or 3 of the worst months. So that really took a toll on me. Also, it's kind of just been a little bit boring. And then this heat the past 2 months has just been so hot, where the things I love to do, which is like being outside and going on walks, and I just can't because it's so hot. And I was really, really sick a month ago. That was like the worst. I was so sick. And then also in January, I had food poisoning, so I was so sick then. Yeah, it's kind of just been boring and upsetting and hot. That's kind of the 3 words I would say to explain this year. But I love matcha. What is your best advice for someone who wants to enter the entertainment industry? My best advice is focusing on one thing and going for it. Because when I was growing up, and even my older brother, he's a music video producer, and so that has been his thing, his lane. He went to school for film. And then ever since he came out here, he has been a producer. He has stuck with that and ran with it. Me, on the other hand, I had done music. I had done singing, rapping, dancing, acting. I did a lot of things. I wasn't all in on any of them. And so my advice is to be all in on something. And if it's acting, find an acting school that's in your budget, go consistently, and you're able to audition, do all of that stuff through Actors Access and casting networks and stuff like that, which is super easy to be able to look up and figure out how to do some of those things. If it's like producing, my brother, went to school for film, and then when he came out here, he just hopped on whatever he could, whatever set, whatever he could get on, he did that, and he worked his way up. That is the best way to do it out here. I actually have a friend who has a mechanic shop. He's like the head guy there now, and I always remember him telling me he had a job to sweep the floors at that place or another place, whatever it was, and he took it because that's what he wanted to do, and he wanted to work his way up. And he's like, any guy that wants to come in here and sweep our floors, like, we will never say no, because that inspired him so much to keep going. And when someone gave him that job, it made them work so hard. It made them so excited. So that's just kind of how it is out here on sets is, working your way up and taking any job, any opportunity that you can get, hop on it, and always working towards your goal, but still like just getting your name out there. Last one. Do you have any tips on how to deal with anxiety? So I also chose this one specifically because I had just watched Inside Out 2, and it's so crazy because I have just been so like naive to think that I don't have anxiety. I've almost been hype about it. Like I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't have anxiety like everyone else. Like, but it's after seeing that movie and seeing like what anxiety is, honestly, that movie taught me that I have anxiety. I'm that person that thinks of how these different scenarios are going to go before you go into something. And I kind of thought that that was just overthinking or pre-planning and, being kind of like rehearsed in a way of like my life has been a dancer and it's kind of just like how my brain works. Come to find out that that's anxiety. Me thinking the last couple of days of how I'm going to deal with it and what I do when I feel like that and what goes through my mind. I think that if you haven't seen Inside Out 2 and you want to know this answer, I think you should watch Inside Out 2 because it really puts it into perspective how, what, when, where, why, and answered some of my questions too. You have all these other emotions, and in the movie, she has a panic attack, she's freaking out, she's anxious, and she got a hug. Something was just like telling her like she's okay. Trying to have that mindset of like breathe, you're okay, you need a hug from someone, writing things out every single day. All these things kind of help you. You have to acknowledge the fact that you actually have it and what it looks like for you because it looks very different for everybody. But my main tip is just breathe, because when things are seeming too stressful for me, when so much is at stake, or you're walking into a situation where you don't really know, you're walking into the unknown, you tend to freak out. You make up things in your head that will never happen. I read something that 80% of the things that we think about or fear and worry about never happen. Kind of knowing these things and these studies really helped me kind of just calm down and breathe and take a step back, understand that it's not that serious. You don't have to have the what ifs in your head. You kind of just go with the flow. And yeah, it's going to take time. Yeah, it's just crazy. But my advice is to watch Inside Out 2 and breathe. It's going to be okay. Again, 80% of the things that we're fearing never happen. So, but then there's like the, the people with anxiety who are like, but what about the 20%? What is the 20%? Like, no, just breathe. It's going to be okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and listening to this week's episode. I will see you guys next week with a new podcast. So, thanks again. Bye, guys.
You've been listening to the Jordyn Jones Podcast. Jordyn's passion is to inspire, relate, and give you that much-needed 1-hour escape from life's everyday struggles. Your family, and we're so glad you're here. Make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Jordyn Jones. Jordyn. This production is brought to you by Straw Hut Media, hosted by Jordyn Jones, produced by Ryan Tillotson, edited by Daniel Ferreira. Additional production help by Carolyn Mendoza, Ali Ahmed, and Samir Gonchi. Keep shining bright like the diamond you are, and see you next time on the Jordyn Jones Podcast.